So this question here is a service firm question from 2006 ordinary level. So it's the Leaving Cert examination 2006 ordinary level. Okay, and we're just going to take you through the best way to answer this question. So just before I start going through the question, what I'll do is I'll just move the screen down as we go. So it may be a good idea to just get the 2006 ordinary level question out of your exam booklets or from examinations.ie, so you can just refer back to the questions, because I'll be moving this page up and down as we go, so it might be a little bit easier for you to follow. So the first place to start is to see what we actually need to carry out. So we are required to calculate Alan Morgan's capital on the 1st of 1st 2005, and then prepare an income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st of December 2005. So we start with part A, capital. So the way I kind of approach the capital question and what I say to students is calculate Alan Morgan's capital on the 1st of 1st 2005. So if for whatever reason, if you're drawing a blank and you just don't know where to start, just have a look at the date. That's the big giveaway here. So the 1st of 1st 2005. If we just have a look up the top here, you'll see the following assets and liabilities of Alan Morgan, a doctor, on the 1st of 1st 2005. So we just have a list of the assets and liabilities from the 1st of January. So all we need to do is add up our assets, add up our liabilities. Let's remove that. Sorry, add up our assets and add up our liabilities, and then just take them away. So this is the only information we'll be using for part A, is up the top, and it's an easy place to make marks with a statement of capital. It comes up fairly regularly. So we'll start the question now. So we're just going to move the page down, so I'll refer back up to it, but just for your own benefit, I recommend you getting the 2005 ordinary level paper from examinations.ie. So I'll start with the heading, which is going to be statement of capital. And it's for the 1st of 1st 2005. It's important to get the headings in straight away. Then after that, we're just going to put in our assets. So we'll just do a little heading for our assets. So if you have a look at the question, just undo that. We have a look at our question here. We just want to look at our assets, so pull out our assets and liabilities out of this. So this is where all our figures are coming from. So our first asset is going to be buildings. And the value of buildings is going to be 710,000. The next one then is going to be furniture. And that's going to be 12,800. Next one then is motor car. And that's going to be 44,000. Amounts due from patients. So the amounts due from patients is going to be an asset. So that's money that is owed to us. And that amount due from patients is €360. Then we have medical equipment. Which is 8,000. And then finally we have cash, a bank of 25,000. I'll just undo that, it would be a little bit easier to see. 25,000. So now all we need to do is we just need to add all them up. So when we add all them up, we get €800,160. So we get 800 100,000, €160. So that's our total assets, our value of our assets. So then all we need to do now is add up our liabilities, and we've only one liability. I'll just put in a liability heading here. And it's only telephone due. And that's going to be 1,400. And then all we need to do is subtract them. So our actual value of capital is 798,760. So that's our capital at the start of the year. 1st of the 1st, 05. And that's going to be an important figure. Oh, well, actually it won't be. Hold on a second. I'll just fix that. And I'll just move the screen up a little bit. So that's our statement of capital, 798,760. And now I'm just going to look at the income and expenditure account next. So the next part of the question just looks for us to prepare an income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st of December 2005. So our income can be found on our receipts, and our expenditure can be found in our payments. We just need to be aware of our additional information here. So in terms of, and also additional information at the top as well. So the way I approach this question is I'd start off by looking to see what things we can link up together. So we're going to start with private patients' fees of 190,000, and then with private patients' fees, that can be linked to private patient fees at the start of the year, and it can also be linked then to private patients' fees at the end of the year. So what that's saying to me is I'm going to have to do a working for that. I'm going to look for a medical card scheme. I have nothing up here in relation to medical card scheme, and I have nothing here in relation to medical card scheme. So there's no adjustments needed here. The next one then will be, we'll look at the payment side, purchase of equipment. Well, we're going to have to depreciate that, so that's going to be important. Have we got any equipment? So we've got equipment up the top as well, up here. We've got equipment here, and we also have to depreciate it. So again, we're going to see how that links together. So the 18,000 here is going to be linked up to the 8,000 here. Okay, the next one then is telephone. Have we got any telephone? We do. We've got telephone due at the start of the year, and then we've got telephone due at the end of the year. So again, I'm going to have to link these two up. It's going to start to get a little bit messy now, but it'll be worth it in the end so we don't forget any information. So telephone due. Okay, next one then is electricity. Do I have any workings for electricity? I don't think so. None up here, and then none down here. No. Receptionist salary. I think there might be a salary, receptionist salary due. So we do have a payment due to our receptionist. So I'll just link them up there. And then there's nothing else then throughout the rest of it. It's only depreciation then. So we just need to make sure we depreciate it. So that's our setup done. So we just need to complete the actual income and expenditure account now. So again, we just need to start with the heading. So it's going to be income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st of the 12th 05. And what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the income. Okay, and what I might do is I might just put our workings over here as we go, just so you can see them. So I'll just do a little line there, and we'll just have workings. What I recommend is when you're doing them in your copybooks is to just do them on a separate page to keep everything nice and neat. I just think it'll be easier for me that rather than scrolling up and down the page. I'll save a little bit of time. So our first heading is going to be income, and we know those are working. So we'll start off with what is given in the question. So 190,200. It was where we can see in the question, in the actual T account and receipt side, and then we need to refer to the additional information at the start. So do you remember the links that we looked at? So the link at the start was, we had on the 1st of 1st, we had an amount due. So the amount due on the 1st of 1st was 360. And then we had an amount due on the 31st of the 12th. And that was 70 and 100. So what I say to students in class is, if there's something due at the end of the year, we add it. And if there's something due at the start of the year, we subtract it. So we subtract the 360 and we add the 1700 from the 190,200, and that leaves us with 191,540. 540. So what I'm going to do is, in the income part then, I can put in income from private patients. Income private, I'm just going to put private P to save me some room. That's going to be 191,540. The next one from the question is medical income, medical card scheme income. So I'm just going to put medical card, and there was no other additional information in relation to that, so we can just put the 97,800 in. So we can add them two up, and we get 289,340 is our total income. So the next thing then we just need to do is have a look at our expenditure. So just finish off right there, and that's our heading. Okay, so we just need to have a look at our different types of expenses that we have. So we'll start off with the first one, which is telephone. So telephone, and if you refer back to the question, we said that there will be workings in relation to telephone. So it's going to be working 2, and what we said was that there was an amount due at the start of the year and the end of the year. Amount due. So the amount due at the start of the year. Apologies. What we'll start with is what's given in the question. So the amount that's given in the question is 6,700. So 6,700, and then there's an amount due at the start of the year and an amount due at the end of the year. So with dues at the start of the year, we subtract, and at the end of the year, we add dues at the end of the year. So it's going to be minus 1,400, and then we're going to add back 900 that's due to us or due to be paid at the end of the year. So it's a total of 6,200. So the actual value of telephone that we have to pay is 6,200. The next expense then we'll look at is electricity, and there is no working for electricity. There's nothing else that affects electricity, so that can head straight in, and that is 12,900. The next one then is receptionist salary. There is a working for receptionist salary. So if we just have a look at due at the end of the year, so it's 36,000, and then at the end of the year then it's just working 3, so it's 36,000, and then at the end of the year there is an extra 400. So we just add them together. We add dues at the end of the year, 31st to 12th. So the value of this salary, receptionist salary, is 36,400. 36,400. Then next one is magazines, and that is 1,200. No additional working. The next one is motor expenses. There's no additional working for motor expenses. That's 22,300. Next one then is audit fees. no workings for that. So our audit fee is 2,600. Our next one then is doctor's salary, which I'd imagine is if the doctor is out of the office or out of the surgery, and they have to get somebody in to replace them. So it's 29,000 of a cost. Next one then is rates of 4,600. And then the next one then is insurance. I'm just going to move that up, hold on a second. So the next one, sorry, apologies, is insurance. There's no adjustment for that, and it's 23,000. And then the only thing we need to add in now is our depreciation for both the car and the equipment. So just do a quick working here. So the value of the car, we can see from the question at the start of the year was, so just put working 4 here. So the value of the car at the start of the year was 44,000, and that's to be depreciated by 10%. So we just multiply that by 10%, gives us 4,400. So it's only the depreciation amount that goes in, 4,400. And after that, then we have the equipment. So the equipment is, the value of the equipment at the start of the year is 8,000. So medical equipment 8,000. Then they purchased equipment throughout the year, so you can see that in payments of 18,000. So we need to add them two together, and then we just need to multiply our answer by the 25% depreciation. So add them two together. I'll just undo that, sorry. Add them two together, and then multiply by 25%. Okay, and if you do that calculation, you get 6,500. So now all we need to do is add up all our expenses. So the total of our expenses comes to 149,100. And we just need to take that away from the figure, our income. So our income up here is 289,340. So if we take them two figures away from each other, we get a value of 140,240. So I'll fit it in there, 140,240. Okay, and what that figure is called, that figure has to be labeled as our net profit. And that is the question complete in 20 minutes with full explanation. So again, just the key things to recap on is, one, the statement of capital is on the 1st of 1st, so it's the very start of the year, which is fairly basic and easy enough to do. Then we just need to do an income and an expenditure account. And once we're able to see the adjustments at the end of the question, then it becomes easy enough. I just recommend that when you're doing your workings, you do them a little bit neater than I'm doing them, so whoever's correcting it can see them better. I'm just stuck for space with the size of my screen. Okay, and that wraps up service firm accounting question, ordinary level 2005.